Hi everyone. I hope everyone are doing okay. I am going to do something that I've never done in the past, and I probably will not attempt doing in future. But I wanted to talk about a Netflix series and talk a little bit. I wouldn't call this a review, but talk a little bit about a Netflix series that I happened to watch recently, like a couple of days ago. It's called Adolescence, and I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm obsessed with it. I wouldn't say obsessed. I'm actually haunted by it, and I've been waking up thinking about it, and I cannot recover from the whole experience of watching it. And I wanted to talk about it. So bear with me, and thank you for listening. So it's called Adolescence, and they give away the storyline in the very first scene, so I'm going to say that now. It's about a 13-year-old who is being accused of killing one of his classmates. So, the main characters are obviously the family of the kids, and there's police involved, and there is a child psychiatrist who was brilliant, and I really loved that episode, of which I'll talk in a bit. And then, how the story unravels. Usually when you watch a crime thriller, you want to know, who killed the person, or how did they kill, or was it this person who killed her? Was that person involved? But this is not how you watch this. This is about what goes in the kids' minds. These kids are so different from the kids that we used to be, or the kids that we assume them to be, even in this era. And that was probably the most important takeaway for me. I wasn't surprised by a lot of things, but there were a lot of perspectives that were new to me as well. Before I get into any of those, I just wanted to say a little bit about the making, and I am very well aware that I have no qualification to talk about movie making other than the fact that I watch a lot of movies. So I can probably differentiate a good movie from a not so good movie or not so well made movie. And this one definitely is a well made movie. And the making has a lot to do with the experience of this whole series. And I'm sorry, I'm using the word movie for the series interchangeably. So the series is shot as a single shot right from the beginning of one episode to the end of one episode, which gives you, for me at least, it gave me an added experience that it's happening right in front of my eyes, and it actually added more tension to watching a crime thriller. If you're watching a live play, or if you're watching like a live theater, you know that it's happening right in front of you. But when you're watching a movie that is shot like this, you also get the added effects of the lights and the movement of the camera and the sound. There was a movie that I watched in the past. It's called 1917, and I think it was shot as a single shot, but I did feel like there were slight transitions where I felt like it might not really be a single shot. I don't know. I'm no one to talk about it, but there are movies that were done like that, but this one definitely is a single shot right from the beginning to the end of each series. And now when we talk about the performances of the actors, it obviously adds not just the actors, to the people who are handling the camera, or all the workers involved, all the staff involved in making of the movie. It gives them added pressure of making it right at the first shot. Just like we talk about intubations, your first shot is always your best shot. So you better optimize everything in the first shot. I think that's just how this movie must have worked out. The actors, they had to give their best shot at the first shot. So talking about the performance, the kid that played this 13-year-old, his name is Owen Cooper, and he has done a terrific job. He's done such a terrific job. His mannerisms, his personality, his performance, oh my God, this kid, they say this is his first acting job, and he has done such a terrific job that I've become such a fan of this kid. He's done such a brilliant job. He keeps like scratching all the time, and I thought that was something that he brought into that personality of the character, but it seems like that is one of his own nature as well, because I was watching all his interviews and he keeps doing that. I am blown away by this kid's performance. The guy that played as his dad, his name is Stephen Graham, and again, I must be so uninformed about the British movies that I did not know that he was also the director of this particular series until I researched about it afterwards. So that was, another brilliant talent who was involved in this whole series. Another person that actually stood out was the lady who played the child psychiatrist. Again, I forgot her name, but she did a terrific job. That was on the third episode, which is my favorite episode. So What I really thought about it is that the world of these teenagers, or even the 13-year-old who's actually getting into that teenage era, it's so different from what we think their world is, or obviously different from the world of us as teenagers, but very different from what we think of them, or what we think they're involved in, their thoughts, their interests, their actions, their language. All these are so different from what we are aware of, and that was probably the perspective that I kind of was not surprised, but there were so many things that I wasn't aware of either. I will say though, movies, we are aware that movies are slightly exaggerated, but still there's a lot of things that I wasn't aware of and I think are probably right. Now, let's talk about the third episode, which is my favorite episode. The third episode is where the child psychiatrist comes into play, and there's a lot of exchanges between the kid and the child psychiatrist. Now, when you talk to a teenager, obviously as people who are involved in a profession dealing with kids as well, we know that we have to be careful about how you put your words across. We have to be careful about not bringing your emotions into the scene. Yet, there are times when you can't get unemotional because, things that when you see a sick kid, you obviously get emotional about it, but you can't bring emotions a lot into the scene. The same way with the child psychiatrist, she feels for the kid, yet she has to remain professional, yet she cannot show empathy. I mean, she's empathetic, but she cannot show her sympathy. So there's a lot of things that come into play, and I'm pretty sure they have done a lot of research, and they've done or they have involved professionals in scripting this, because those scenes were so class, they were so perfect, the exchanges were so perfect that you would be given hope at a certain time, you would be withdrawn from that at a certain time, you would think, oh my god, poor kid, and then you're like, oh my god, look at his face, he looks so wicked, so, and it's all brilliance to the actress. So that was terrific. So if at all there is anything for me to take away, let me talk about this last episode too. The last episode, there's a lot of discussions about what could be, it's a discussion among the parents, on how to raise these kids. What did they do wrong, or could they have done anything different, or things like that, which is probably some of the discussions that goes on in a lot of families these days. And I think from my understanding, I really think my perspective on that is that we can only do so much. You can't be controlling these kids a lot. I think there's a fine line between letting them have their experiences and growing on their own, and then also kind of keeping an eye and kind of having an awareness of what's happening with them. I don't think there's much we can do, and that was just my own perspective. I'm no one to make judgments or advices on that, but I think in general, it was an excellent, a brilliantly made series, and I really think everyone should watch it, especially if you're in the age group as mine, especially if you are involved in taking care of kids around that age. And I think it'll be a treat to yourself, and I honestly think it's worth a second and a third watch. And thank you for listening to me.